This is going to Getugly. Like everyone, I saw the images online and in the media of huge crowds of women who turned out and knitted pink hats in cities all around the globe for last weekend's Women's March. But unlike everybody who seems to have adopted what appears to be the officially sanctioned interpretation of this event, I don't feel like I was witnessing some inspiring, enlightened defiance of some existential threat to human rights or a spontaneous expression of solidarity with some meaningful and just cause. What I feel I was witnessing was something like mass hysteria, collective paranoid delusion, and a pathological form of groupthink, perhaps for the first time on a global scale. So what's really happening here? Well, to my mind, over the past 10 to 12 months, I've watched a narrative being cunningly constructed and promoted by political and media elites invested in particular social and political agendas. And now it seems I'm witnessing the efforts of those powerful interests bearing fruit as thousands of people, particularly women, it has to be acknowledged, seem to have reflexively and uncritically internalized that messaging. And now they're relating to it as if it's a personal insight that mirrors objective truth.
What does that comment that he said about a nasty woman, does this have any impact on the election?
Look, what it does is it goes to a narrative that already exists, which is a focus in modern American feminism.
How did you feel when he said, nasty woman, nasty woman?
A nasty woman, that Clinton was a nasty woman.
I'm nasty. Like my blood stains on my bed sheets we don't actually choose. And nasty women have really had it with guys like you. And on November 8th, we nasty women are going to march our nasty feet to cast our nasty votes to get you out of our lives forever.
Because a woman hasn't experienced Donald Trump either sexually harassing them or even sexually attacking them, doesn't mean that it didn't happen to other women.
They're responding to a program of propaganda precisely the way the authors of that propaganda intended. And as often seems to be the case with these collective displays of progressive left outrage and dissatisfaction, no one seems particularly able to articulate what this was all about or for, let alone what purpose it's supposed to serve. The motivations are all very vague and ephemeral, especially when you consider the degree of frenzy and the apparent depth of satisfaction being generated among the participants.
I feel like there's so much insidious unfairness toward women. It's like this haze that we can't always touch, but it's there and it's obscuring our vision. And I want to lift that haze.
You have a story and I have a story. We all have stories, but that doesn't mean that the significance of each of our stories goes down. It means that we stand together, we put our stories together and stand up for everyone in this world.
And if you dare to venture, sir, beyond the color of my eyes, beyond the touch of my skin, beyond the places on my body that you want to own, you will find oceans that you will drown in if you are not ready to sail.
It's a pussy hat.
They say it's about women's rights.
I had to march today because women's rights are human rights.
But for equal rights, for equal pay, and for our basic civic rights as females.
It's about making sure that we protect women's rights, that we don't let those rights be eroded.
Okay, could you be more specific? What is it about women's rights that has changed so dramatically over the last few days that warrants these histrionics and extraordinary expressions of outrage. They say it's about solidarity.
And we want to stand in solidarity with our sisters.
Come together in solidarity.
Solidarity.
In solidarity.
Okay, solidarity with whom over what? Where normally you would expect to find specifics or facts, all you get are these vague allusions to some looming or present or past social justice catastrophe and a kind of self-indulgent, adolescent emotionalism. The thing is, it's precisely this indistinct and incoherent grasp of their own motivations that you would expect to find if people had been swept up in a program of groupthink manufactured by external sources and designed to activate their ego and their emotional reactivity rather than address their intellect and their reason. Ultimately, I don't believe that people partaking in this event, either directly or indirectly, are acting out of a concern for the greater good or a commitment to admirable principles. The payoff for these people is not the elevation of truth. More likely, it's the ego expansion that people experience when they divest themselves of their individuality in favor of the collective identity of a mob. And I suspect that resentment and a reflex for shifting responsibility for personal dissatisfactions and grievances from themselves to other people is a significant, if not unacknowledged, factor behind much of the mania. The fact that this character flaw can be exploited and manipulated by political interests in the media and at such a grand scale is about as far away from inspiring and motivating and admirable as you can get.
It's a pussy hat.